Welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host, an Untitled Anarchist Seagull called Elise. And let's adjust that. And let us begin. Let's see where the Last JabroniCon takes us this time. How's everybody doing, chat? Hi, Helsatine. Nice to see you. Always enjoy your comments. Yesterday we saw Vush and Anatransphobia demonstrating why you probably shouldn't be chucking rocks if you live in a greenhouse. Let's see where we can go this time. There's so much shit here. Already did that Jurassic Park thing ages ago. Chad, if you see if anything calls out to you while I'm scrolling through to find the more recent stuff, just, yeah, don't be a stranger. Milton Friedman, no free lunch. Oh, this could be good. Okay, start out with a nice short one. The student loan forgiveness scam from PragerU. People who, I mean, are obviously completely opposed to scams. Wait, PimTool not understand anything? Where did you see that? Was there a specific PimTool video you were interested in? Crazy New York people destroy restaurant for no reason. SCOTUS overturns Roe in biggest decision of our generation. Was there a specific one that you were... Ah, okay. Well, let's see what we've got in PimTool. There's some other... I got a bunch of PimTool just spread throughout here. This is utterly disorganized. Vosh and Charlie Kirk join Timcast IRL to discuss and debate. That's a long one, but it might be worthwhile. Well, I think that's a given. Um, let's see. This one would be transphobic as hell. Yeah, I mean, I usually scroll to the bottom on this before I get to before I actually start the screen. Oh, without a doubt, he has. Oh yeah, some like 1950s U.S. propaganda films about communism. Oh, Caleb Muppet, Kim Il Saltine himself, dissecting John Stossel's anti-communist lies, and I love that because I once said that Caleb Muppet is John Stossel's fursona because they sound identical. I mean, that might be. Let's see. Yeah. Rockstar says he was fired from major brand for supporting Donald Trump. Banned from supporting Donald Trump. The young turfs talking about patriotic millionaires, which, I mean, really, the only people who can afford it to be patriotic, I mean. Yes, the deep dive on Karl Marx. Oh, wow, I'm. Well, it's amazing just how many videos there are by Bush titled Addressing the Allegations. LGBTQ celebs demand. Oh, okay, we already saw that one. Leftist media fires staff, announces AI news articles. This is apocalyptic. Okay, where was that? Ah, yeah.
Fuck. Anyway, there's like a lot of weird, bizarre conflicts of interests and like really abusive, dishonest, snaky, backstabby behavior that has become prevalent among many figures
Got it
online.
on now.
And it just so happens recently that this sphere of YouTube has taken to calling themselves, like self-labeling themselves by a new name as a way of I mean, I don't think they meant for this, but immediately telling us like they're in that circle of people.
What name is it?
But also to try to
Do you have any idea what the hell he's talking about with this?
build their own community. They call it cornbread tube. I'm not kidding.
Oh, he's talking about... Yeah, he's talking about black leftist creators on YouTube. Yeah, now I get it. And of course, he doesn't... He cornbread tube. He says it because he says it that way because he does not even understand what the cultural reference is.
The woke scold video essayosphere has decided they're going to try to create a new era of lefty
Oh, hang on.
content online, and they're calling it cornbread tube.
No, they're calling it cornbread tube. Because there's a thing called cornbread. I will
Cornbread
now.
tube. Now, I don't know
Cornbread tube, my ass.
what the point of that is supposed to be. All I know is
Of
that
course he doesn't know. Of course he doesn't know what the point of that is supposed to be. And I haven't heard any of them actually specifically explain what the point was. I've just heard the reference, but I think it's pretty obvious because it's a critique that is made quite a bit that the people who generally are taken to be breadtube, at least the really big name creators, are white as fuck. And I would assume that with a name like Cornbread Tube, they're trying to redress that balance by bringing together black leftist creators. That would be my fucking guess. Like, what kind of Ritz box has he been living in that he does not get a basic fucking cultural reference like that?
When I heard it, and that's not the best. Like, BreadTube itself was already a pretty cringe label. Calling it cool.
Do you even know what the reference is there? Like, have you even... I won't even suggest that he's... How's the audio, by the way? That he might have read Kropotkin's book, The Conquest of Bread. Because I know he definitely hasn't. I would be absolutely so shocked if he turned out to. But, I mean, not even... But I would be actually, like, surprised if he even knew that it was a reference to a book.
Cornbread tube?
Like, look at this bedroom he streams from. Look how many books you see in there.
Like, dude. Like, you're pushing it too far. Like, haha, we're corny leftists? Or, no.
No, you fucking... Do you... How the fuck? How, like, yeah, were you born in a tube of fucking toothpaste? That you don't know that cornbread is a black thing? I mean, I'll admit, I didn't know shit about that until I went to high school where, like, the overwhelming majority of the students there were black, so I learned it was a major cultural and social education for me. But, like, it's not like this stuff is hidden out. This or that, that was before internet was really a thing. And so it was easy not to be exposed to these sort of cultural things. Yeah. Yeah, but but the thing is, in his case, yeah, I mean, I suppose that's fair. But on the other hand, he just very clearly does not read anything.
It's not to do with being corny. No, it's, Okay, so there's two interpretations you could make of it. Someone in chat said that cornbread was invented by indigenous people, so you could say that it's like, they're a bread tube that's so woke that they name themselves after something invented by indigenous people.
You... What in the fuck? He really doesn't he really does not get this. He's just reading. Wait a second. What are they saying in chat? Let me see this. What? Okay, because somebody's saying something is racist corporate cultural interpretation. I mean appropriation. Oh, somebody decided just apropos of nothing to point out that American Johnson owned a company, as if that's some fucking secret. Didn't we just go through this? Like, wasn't there a separate video where he was like where Xander Hole was trying to make a gotcha out of that, as if that were some secret and not like
corny leftists, or no, it's not to do with being corny. No, it's okay, so there's two interpretations.
Oh, okay. Somebody actually, Wingo in his chat says it's a soul food staple. Fake Southerner.
Could make of it. Someone in chat said that cornbread was invented by indigenous people, so you could say that it's like they're a bread tube that's so woke that they name themselves after something invented by indigenous people.
He is okay. I had been getting bored with this video, which is why I didn't actually finish it the last time. But holy shit, I should have stayed with it for a few minutes because he doesn't understand why a network of leftist content creators who are all black might name themselves after cornbread. Hang on just a second, I need to fix something here. Be right back. Okay. I'd like to have the fan on because sometimes I get kind of hot under all this light. And now I'm back. Okay, this motherfucker doesn't know why a bunch of black people would come together and make a tongue-in-cheek reference to cornbread. Like, okay, clearly his background is whiter than Hellman's, but like, has he not even listened to an Outkast song? I'm sure they've made references to this shit. It's been a long time since I heard anything by Outkast, but I'm sure there were some rhymes to do with cornbread in there.
Or it could be, if you're American, cornbread's like a very classic Southern food. It's like classic Southern, like, soul food. I have eaten a lot of corn.
Okay, and what is okay? You're getting there, my guy. And whose culture is soul food again? Whose cuisine is that? Because that's not just like any Southerners. There's a specific group of people whose fucking food culture that is. Try. You're getting so close.
Bread in my life. It's not my favorite. I'm not the biggest fan of cornbread. I don't.
Yeah, I would actually. I mean, I would not imagine him to be a fucking hip hop expert, which I'm far from being as well. There are like certain artists I've listened to basically everything by, and and then there's like a whole universe of hip hop music that I have not heard, and probably I've missed all sorts of great stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable here. Trying to get comfortable and position myself right in front of this. It's a new camera because the other one kept on crapping out on me in awkward places. He said rap music is mostly about getting rich and smoking weed. I mean, okay.
I don't really like it much. There's just such better Southern, like, soul foods, right?
Yeah, Oh, no. Tell us more about what soul food you like, because clearly you did not need chat to explain this to you. Obviously not. What a dickhead.
It might be like a racial thing
You think?
because a lot of people can they associate Southern soul food with black people.
This motherfucker doesn't. This motherfucker doesn't understand that the reason it's called that soul food. That is what soul food is. This is like, yeah. I mean, that's like saying, a lot of people associate this comida mexicana thing with Mexicans for some reason.
So it could be that.
Give a
I
fucking
don't
hell.
even know what the origin is, but regardless of what the origin is,
This motherfucker doesn't even like, dude.
it's
He's so telling on himself right now.
not a very good label, personally, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to fly very well for them, but I wish them luck. I wish them luck.
Okay, see, I wonder if you're the target audience for them. I mean, obviously, since you're like so down with black culture, as we've just established, clearly you're the target audience. So you'd be the one to judge whether this is good branding. The guy who had to be told by chat why a bunch of black creators would decide to name themselves Cornbread Tube.
do. But recently, to get us all caught up in all of this lore, Keffels put out what I have heard is a fantastic video on Soul Bunny, FD Signifier, and just the whole sphere that is now calling themselves Cornbread.
Yeah, I mean, and there can't be any when some of the whitest liberal commentators on YouTube decide that they're going to specifically slag off a specifically black group of content creators who just happen to be well to their left, I'm sure there could not be anything untoward going on.
And she brings a lot of receipts, she brings a lot of screenshots, she brings a lot of clips apparently, and I'm quite excited to see it, so let's go ahead and give it a watch.
Well, in fairness, Jews have a very complicated relationship with whiteness because motherfuckers can't make up their mind which one we are. So it varies from which country you go to. Like, I mean, and which people you meet with. And it is wild because sometimes you don't actually know until you're like fucking 10 minutes deep in a conversation with somebody and then it just sort of hits you. It's a very weird thing because being on one of the most historic boundaries of the concept of whiteness, where it's just constantly fucking shifting for the past like 300 years. I mean, fun fact, you know what country was the first one to decide that Jews were white? South Africa in the 1800s. I wonder why it might have been that they decided to make a decision that would sort of somewhat increase the white settler minority that they were trying to use to dominate South Africa at the time. Couldn't possibly have been a cynical thing.
We like Keffels here. She's a friend of the stream. She's a friend of mine, and yeah, let's give it a watch.
I don't like a bully that gaslights.
She doesn't like a bully that gaslights. Wow, that's Sanderhole called out.
This white Canadian trans streamer. Wait, sorry, I misread that. This YouTube
She's reading somebody else.
Canadian trans streamer.
And no, she had it right the first time. She doesn't even know that YT stands for Whitey. These motherfuckers! Like... have they met black people ever? Like, do these motherfuckers grow up in like a live action universe that is just casted like the show Friends? How do they, like, you're supposedly leftist content creators, and common shit like this gets by you? Like, how?
Those that don't know, YT, I was confused about this for a long time.
I'm not surprised. Some of us weren't because we just read it out loud. And it's also why it's so fitting that the Young Turfs abbreviates to TYT. I would love it if you made videos. And if you want help with like the editing or anything like that to help you get it out there or whatever, then count me in. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff going on, but I can definitely find some time for it if you don't mind that I'm really, really shitty at scheduling things. But I mean, yeah, you always have insightful and interesting and pithy things to say in chat, and I would love to see you do it. I'd love to see you putting out videos.
Unironically, because people would keep calling me white like that. Like, I'd keep getting called YT.
Yeah, I'm shocked. How this guy?
And I was confused, like, are they shitting on me?
Yes! No.
YouTuber? Are they it's
No. Like, he is so telling on himself right now. No.
It's really weird to say YouTuber in that context grammatically, but I guess that's what that stands for. And then I found out it stands for white, because like if you like white, like why?
It stands for whitey, motherfucker.
White. It's very commonly used by like hoteps. If you see someone use,
no, I have to say, I would say that hoteps aren't even the main people using it. But that's cute that he just decides to sort of... I mean, what's interesting is he's getting pushback in his chat from this. Because the stuff is so basic that even people who hang out in Mitch McConnell Marshmallow Sandwich comparison... Yeah, please restate it, because I don't remember this, but it sounds good. Like, even they're calling him out on this stuff.
Using YT to refer to white people, that's a red flag. It's not on its own, like...
No, it isn't. This is, like, God. No, that is not a... Plenty of people, I mean, like, basically everyone I've ever seen use YT that way also slag off hoteps.
Okay, we're dealing with someone who's cringe, but it's
Well, yes, we're watching Xanderhole. Of course we're dealing with someone who's cringe.
a red flag, you know?
Icons like wash. It's like,
Let's see what that tender queers are. I don't take it back.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's her being ableist as fuck. Which, I mean, yeah, Xanderhole did a whole thing pointing out that he thinks ableism is cool and he finds it annoying that people are critical of it.
Take it back. They are... So, the sound effect, FBI open up. I don't know if you're aware of what that means, but the Urban Dictionary definition...
Okay. So...
Wait, okay. See, she goes to the Urban Dictionary to look up FBI open up? Yeah, I know. I mean, hoteps are bad news. Of course, white content creators who are obsessed with hoteps are also a little bit weird. It's like, I mean, when the cults and the bad cultural tendencies that you're focused on are never from your own fucking cultural milieu, I find that a bit weird when they're always from marginalized groups of people.
Someone sent me a message, okay? A fan of mine,
Okay.
who lives somewhere in Africa. I actually don't remember where. Sorry, buddy, but if you're watching this right now, then you can probably
Somewhere in Africa.
went ahead and messaged me about like what the deal is with the editing on that video, and
Well, see, he can't possibly be racist because a guy from somewhere in Africa, which really narrows it down, also wonders what's the deal with the video.
apparently a lot of YouTubers from like Africa and Caribbean countries. There's like this, like
You realize Africa is huge, right? I mean, there's a lot of people in Africa. That's like the most ridiculous. Like, what can you tell us what part of Africa? Not even necessarily a country, even though the countries are all pretty fucking huge. But I mean, most of them. There are a couple of small ones, but not on the whole.
this side of YouTube, this culture of YouTube video of just cram packing your videos with like an overabundance of recognizable sound bites and video clips, like really over the top.
You mean like people just do in order to make references?
And usually when well done, it like
Yeah, people in his chat are also calling him out on this Hotep bullshit.
works, but when done poorly, it can just come off as extremely cringe. So that's how I had like what he was going for here explained to me as. So apparently, it's not like hyper zoomer editing; it's more of like an attempt at like a type of editing very popular in non-American YouTube.
The top one is that it's a meme that implies that the FBI is raiding your
Yeah.
house because you have.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Urban Dictionary is absolutely fucking useless. I mean, it's worse than Wikipedia. It's like Wikipedia without the editors. Without any kind of, like, internal peer review going on.
Child on your computer. So, in the worst possible interpretation of this, Foreign just played into the right-wing talking points about trans people being groomed and in the best interpretation,
You realize it's already, I mean, yeah, that is, you had to actually go and look up a particular, I wonder how long she went looking for something about the words FBI open up that could just be anything other than just a reference to, the cops coming, not trying to knock down your door.
that I can think of, I got mocked for being hate crimed.
Well, yeah, it was either a joke about her getting swatted, or it was a joke trying to claim that she's a pedophile.
No, it wasn't. Like, that, it this is just wild. This is like the time when, okay, this is gonna be some niche German shit right now. Okay, I did a video, it's in German, where I looked over there's an organization in Germany called RIAS, which is a quasi-governmental, NGO, a quango, who put out an annual report on anti-Semitism in the country, and it is generally useless, because they treat any support for Palestinian rights as anti-Semitic, and their standards are ridiculous, and their statistics are compiled in the sloppiest way imaginable. But, okay, so I decided at one point I was just gonna go in real time through their calendar of anti-Semitic incidents from the past year. And one of them was some artwork for a BDS campaign for Palestinian rights, which they claimed had a Nazi symbol on it. And this claim was sourced to an asshole by the name of Volker Beck, who just claimed that this it was a heart that was broken, and so the pieces, the edges are jagged where it broke, and some of the jaggedness, if you want to squint just the right way, could look like the SS runes. And so he just declared as a fact, because you're just allowed to smear anyone who supports Palestinians however you want in Germany. There are no legal consequences for it. You can't get away with that with just about anyone else. Like, I mean, if you have a sticker on your car that says fuck the police, you can get done for it. You can actually get criminal charges for it. But if you just, make up some bullshit and claim that a bunch of human rights activists are actually just Nazis, then that's okay. Yeah, I mean,
So what I found very funny.
hij is een
Some
gat.
of you guys have to, some of you guys are gonna have to like
Xander
look
gat.
back at older content if you were around for it to know. But back in like 2019 to 2021 in particular, there was actual legit pushback from my own audience when I made this point. Vosh would make this point and get pushback from his own audience.
Okay. You mean like the pushback you're getting over acting like it's some sort of weird thing, it would like if like there's just no possible way to know what cornbread could be a reference to?
Like any debate, like white cishet debate. I mean, I know that Vosh isn't straight, but still, like any white cis het passing debate bro online that tried to make the argument, guys, listen. Sometimes there are people in
Make what argument? Make what argument, Xander Hole? Finish your fucking thought.
marginalized groups who use their identity as a shield so that they can do awful, morally horrible things.
And he's jealous of that because all he has to use as a shield is the fact that he's a white ex-Nazi.
And then, like, with Candace Owens getting really big, I think a lot of the left kind of became a little more aware of that.
It wasn't the first time. God, I mean, his references are all from like a year and a half ago. Like, I mean, anyone who's been involved in the left for any length of time knows this is just a thing that that reactionaries do.
But over time, with like the woke scold, like
he just keeps using it. This is a fucking term Ben Shapiro made up.
Side of the internet getting progressively more and more shameless in their very blatantly dishonest and just evil, abusive actions.
Of which you've yet to provide an example.
And using idpol as a way of protecting themselves from criticism for it. You know, you get like a trans person on Twitter who would call you like a evil piece of shit, and you'd.
Well, I mean, you want to see this. This isn't a good example because you're an evil piece of shit. This isn't. I mean, you need a better example. You need an example of somebody calling you something you're not, like a leftist.
Reply like, "What the fuck are you saying? Like, you're lying right now." And they'd say, "You're abusing a trans person. You need to listen to what trans people in your community say. You need to."
Which is why he's done his best to ensure that there would be as few trans people in his community as possible.
Listen to what trans people are trying to tell you.
And also, fuck community. These people don't have a community. They have a fan base. I mean, that's all this is. This is just a fan base. And, I mean, look, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with that unless you pretend it's something else. Like when when Democrats will claim that their, like, electoral get-out-the-vote campaign is a movement, despite the fact that it very obviously isn't, because there's absolutely no autonomy to any of it, and it's clearly very top-down.
Offensive, and it'd be like, okay, I got a lot of trans fans, and they'd say, well, they don't count, right? But what ended up
yeah, they don't.
happening.
I mean, like, Caitlyn Jenner exists. That does not mean that fucking Republicans aren't transphobic as hell.
Is that,
Candace Owens exists. That doesn't make, like, these right-wingers any less racist.
The left started to become, like, this side of the left became more aware of the fact that there are people on the left who are part of marginalized groups who will use their marginalized status as a way of defending themselves against valid criticism.
But you haven't given an actual example of this. I mean, this is very Tim Pool what he's doing. Because Tim Pool will just sort of run off at the mouth about stuff and not provide a single example. Caleb Muppet does this a lot, too. And then just kind of, it's just a fucking gish gallop of...
And for a long time, the woke scold side of the left denied that and said that, claiming this in and of itself is racism, misogyny, homophobic, transphobic, whatever it may be. But then along came Keffals, and Shark, and Demon Mom.
Okay, here we go.
And other content creators in this space that are
More reactionary, more willing to suck up for in exchange for clout.
very reasonable.
Well, God, yeah. Well, if Xanderhole thinks they're very reasonable, then obviously, I mean, what could he's saying that they're some of the good ones.
People who have good positions, who agree on most things with me or
Ooh, that's a tautology, my man.
Bosch or whatever, and don't jump on board with this, like, debate bros are evil bandwagon.
So, yeah, see, and that is a criterion for him, because if he distinguishes between anyone in a marginalized group who calls out the extremely reactionary bullshit that he and his mothership Vush engage in, and those who are sucking up to him. I mean, he's just so fucking transparent. He's not as good at this as Vush is. He needs to spend more time in Vush's fucking back pocket wherever he goes to get his mentoring.
And so very quickly, the narrative stopped being listen to trans people. It stopped being listen to black people.
Well,
and now, we're all of a sudden, the woke scold sphere is talking about how minorities...
The woke scolds. I mean, I mean, that's what gets me. He's just uncritically... There's literally nothing that he's saying here that Ben Shapiro or Tim Pool could not fully and wholeheartedly subscribe.
Can use their identity and idpol as a defense. But specifically in the context of going after people like Shark or Keffals.
Well, yeah, because they're doing basically, as you mentioned, fucking Candace Owens. Yeah, same concept.
Calling Shark the sea slur, or calling Keffals like all manner of things they call Keffals.
Like what?
Hell, the origin of Keffals being racist, like that meme of calling Keffals racist,
was hey, you want to have a guess of this one? What's the origin? What Phoenix or anyone in chat really want to have a guess at what the origin of the meme of Keffals being called racist is? We'll accept two answers: one, what he's about to say, and two, what the actual origin is.
comes from when she quote tweeted somebody attacking that. There was this white lady who wrote a cookbook on how to make dumplings and noodles. And Twitter went after this woman, harassing her, and just, she had to private her Twitter and everything, so Twitter was really going after this woman. And Keffals quote tweeted the viral post that started the hate brigade against the noodle woman, with just simply, noodles are tasty. And that is what...
Would you, see, I have not really paid attention to Keffals, to be honest. I've not found any reason to do so. Would you agree with that description, Phoenix, or anyone in chat, really? Is that the origin of why people would say that Keffals is racist? Or would you say it has a different origin? You pay more attention specifically to Keffals than I do.
Keffals is racist shit started. I have beef with the noodle cunt as an Asian presenting person. She did it on purpose. Wait, real? Do you know some lore, or are you memeing? I don't know if there's like lore that I don't know about it, but essentially the origin of Keffals is racist is because she said noodles are tasty, and that's why it's okay for a white person to make it.
Yeah, I mean, I love how, I mean, this is so... This is so serviceable to reactionaries because what he's doing here, what he's saying is that essentially, anti-racists will call anything racist regardless of whether there's any basis for it. That's what he's saying here. He is basically doing the same bullshit that Tim Pool or Ben Shapiro or that Crowder fuck would do, and pretending that that it's just normal for people to be called racist by a large number of people for absolutely no reason.
Cookbook about making noodles or dumplings. It very well may have been the case the noodle or dumpling cookbook was dog shit. And if that's the case, criticize it for that.
Well, my understanding was that the issue with the cookbook in particular was that it was cultural appropriation because it was white women making money off of questionable renditions of recipes from somebody from marginalized cultures. It was my understanding. Hey, Khanet Kidastro.
But I think it's okay if a white person makes a cookbook about a food that was not like created by white people. I just noticed that.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're okay with it, that means everyone has to be okay with it.
Noodle Cunt revived it recently, whatever. It was just like a year after, posted a screenshot for Clout. Oh, she brought it back? If you get, like, harassed a bunch for something like that, I mean, I can see bringing it up as, like, Jesus, remember when that happened? Like, crazy times, huh? But, yeah, I don't know, she didn't.
So, Phoenix, would you say... Roslyn was the woman who said that it's a bit sketch for a white woman to be making money off of Asian cuisine when the people who created it often do not. Right? I mean, this is back a while, and I kind of came in the middle of it, and I looked at it, and it just seemed like not a particularly rewarding discourse to spend time in.
I'm a little confused right now, but I'm also quite...
He's always a little bit confused, because he doesn't know anything.
She literally got no harassment? No, I mean, she did get harassment. She ended up having to, private her Twitter, but I don't know what what did she do? Oh, the lady who posted quote tweeted her. Not the writer of the book. I was misinterpreting, because I assumed you meant Noodle Lady as in the lady who wrote the book. Okay, okay, this is what I get for streaming while high. I can perfectly...
Well, that's not much of an excuse, because you always seem to be this full of shit. I mean, if you can't smoke weed and stream and not be totally full of shit, Xanderhole, maybe you should just stream sober. I mean, I do it all the time. And it hasn't killed me yet.
Do live streamed content while high, but I cannot...
Yeah, it's more popular specifically because we have a racist system. And, when... God, I wouldn't mind a bit of weed, honestly, to watch this motherfucker. I mean, the reason that... Because there's this whole thing where, Asian people get all sorts of shit for their food. And then white hipsters suddenly discover it, and then they will come up with their fucking bland ass renditions of it, and lecture the people whose cuisine it is about how to do it properly, and they'll make a ton of money off of it.
Interact with chat while high. I will just completely misunderstand what you guys are talking about. It makes for some pretty...
Well, I mean, that's sort of a normal stream for you, though.
Funny stun lock, I'll admit. I avoided the noodle story until now. I'm not happy that now I know. Well, now you have to know. That's how it goes. I'm a bad chatter. No. It's just hard to, It's hard to, put a line of chat messages together into, a cohesive,
Well, that's because they're not particularly cohesive most of the time.
Story. It's like a skill to read chat for me. And if I'm off on my game, I'll be bad at it. Some days I'm good at it, some days I'm bad.
Also, chat has been like actually calling him the fuck out at this time, pointing out just how completely ignorant he is. So maybe that's part of why he's not very good about reading it right now.
And I'm really disgusted at all of the people defending this. I'm disgusted about how this is being played out over Twitter, especially with people trying to not take accountability for this kind of behavior. So, with that said, hold on a second. I have to open up an incognito tab because I'm blocked by both Soulbun.
I just think it's really funny that after Keffels and Shark became the two biggest people that the woke sphere are going after right now for not agreeing with them and not towing the line, now all of a sudden they're all making videos in complete contrast to what they believed like 2 years ago about how, okay, actually there are certain minorities that are bad and they do...
Well, except I think you'll find actually, Xanderhole, that they already knew that there were people from marginalized ethnicities and backgrounds of all sorts who would leverage that identity in order to act as an alibi for reactionaries. I don't think that they just recently discovered that. It just happens that now you have you've provided some examples of your own.
Use their identity to protect themselves from criticism, but it's actually the people we don't like.
Well, it would be weird if they did like marginalized people who were like who made a career out of pretending racism or whatever doesn't exist. It would be weird if those were people they did like. I would have a lot of suspicion of them if those were the people they did like.
It's like, okay, when a year ago you were denying the existence of...
This is a Good Morning Breakfast show? Oh, wow. I never would have thought of myself as breakfast television. Maybe I should put that in like my fucking in my intro or something. Yeah, on by televisi.
This, like, who are you going to believe? You know,
Funny and Jesse Gender.
Stop kombuis zu cryo bescheiden Rooibos thee und bekijk hoe ons rechte gaten opfuck.
Twitter is so busted. Jesse was saying, so I'm going to say this because people are talking about it. Yes, I block people. I do it for my mental health, and I'm allowed to set limits on who I allow into my space.
So far, I mean, I'm not sure what we're supposed to be objecting to. Those are all reasonable things. I block tons of people. In fact, sometimes I will find out that they're like fucking... actually... well, no, in Holland, you wouldn't say kombuis, you'd say cookie. And you wouldn't say "rrr" most of the time. It would be either or "er." So it would be like, ga naar de keuken en krijg een beetje thee en zo krijg thee, rooibos thee. No, I mean, mostly I get my pronunciation from audiobook readers. Well, the origin of the language is such a fascinating story, and it's such a good example. I mean, we were just talking about like cultural appropriation and stuff. And it's an example of it because, you know, if you listen to reactionaries, you'd think that white settlers invented the whole thing, when the first known documents ever to be written in recognizable, distinguishable Afrikaans were written in the Arabic script, because that's what the literate class of Malays spoke several hundred years ago when it was first I listen to a lot of Irma Venter and Deon Meyer audiobooks. That's kind of where my pronunciation comes from. That and Johannes Kirkorol songs.
As best as one can do on online media. To shame someone for setting limits or boundaries, not cool.
And yeah, every single thing she said I can totally subscribe to. What's your problem with it, Keffels?
The fall off of Jessie Gender was wild, dude. Her liking the tweets, calling Shark the sea slur and a slave. That was fucked. Like, Jessie's gone.
And let's see some of those tweets. Why don't you let us judge for ourselves?
I don't think Jessie is like, if you're like a Jessie Gender fan, you gotta pack it in. You gotta accept it. Jessie Gender, like, liking tweets calling Shark the sea slur.
Oh, I mean, unlike, say, a Xanderhole fan, because Xanderhole would never do anything problematic.
Like, there's just, you gotta know who we're dealing with here. You gotta accept and admit, like, the type of person that we're dealing with here is not the kind of person you're probably gonna want to support as a content creator. Yeah, it's Jover. It sucks how many of these figures I enjoyed up until they showed their true colors.
That is to say, up until they were like they were at all critical of your shit.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and Jessie also jumped on with the say her name shit, and yeah.
And Soul Bunny responds to this by saying, "No one is entitled to us as content creators. As you said, our mental health comes first."
Again, what are you objecting to? That is an entirely reasonable thing. I mean, I know there are content creators who, like, proudly don't block anyone. Like, Lance from the Surfs says he's never blocked anyone on Twitter ever. I, on the other hand, will go to certain threads specifically to block everyone. Like, you know, boycott Etsy was trending because TERFs are pissed off at Etsy. And so I just went to that hashtag, and I just spent like an hour blocking every single person who was not using it to point out what bullshit it was.
And this is quite literally therapy speak. Because, like, the end...
Notice how they've started, by the way, adapting the arguments that we made a couple years ago against them. This whole cornbread tube thing they're trying to start, they know that the only way it's going to have any level of success is if they hide that they're crazy fucking woke scolds.
Define woke scold. Well, define woke scold. It's like, I mean, he uses it the way right-wingers, I mean, well, other right-wingers, let's be honest, just say woke as a pejorative, and he's just as resistant to actually defining it.
Which is why their videos are so filled with dog whistles. Why, like, when Foreign Man in the Foreign Land called Shark the sea slur, he did it in the form of like a half-second edit where he shows a picture of Shark that's all grainy and blurry, and then plays like a half-second audio clip of Raccoon Call, and then immediately continues with the video. With the direct purpose of making it so if you know, then you get the joke and you like it. But if you don't know, that was just a weird edit that just passes in half a second and you're on to the next one, right?
Well, I mean, and because he's in the know, you know, this is the guy who needed to have cornbread tube, the reason the word is being used, explained to him, and still doesn't get it, even though his chat did actually correctly explain it to him.
So, it's interesting how much these cornbread tubers, as they've called themselves, are implementing far-right methodology in their messaging because they're too cowardly.
Unlike you, who is using far-right messaging a lot of the time.
To stand behind what they actually believe in their videos.
Well, like what far-right methodology?
Oh, did we get raided? Oh, hell yeah, we got a Keffels raid. Thank you, Keffels. We're actually watching your video right now. We're reviewing it right now. You've brought some, you're bringing good stuff to the table. I'm backing you up. Thank you for the raid, Keffels. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I hope you enjoy your stay. We're actually watching Keffels right now, so you'll be right at home.
The result of this, and remember, Jesse's a public figure. The end result of this is to avoid accountability. It has nothing to do with mental health.
Oh, really? So you don't block anyone, do you? Like, the thing about accountability is you can't block your way out of it. All you do by blocking is you don't is that it doesn't show up in your mentions.
Jesse wants to be able to sling.
You know what I think happened? I actually think Lindsay Ellis leaving the internet basically sent the message that the woke scolds wanted to send. For those that don't remember, Lindsay Ellis, about a year ago now maybe, might have been a little less, ended up posting a tweet. A very, just offhanded tweet about a movie called Raya the Last Dragon, some, Pixar Disney movie or something like that. Maybe DreamWorks, I don't even know. And, she said that the plot, in a very it wasn't even, an insult to the movie. It was just a comment about how the plot was very similar to Avatar the Last Airbender. She proceeded to be inundated in a massive amount of harassment. She was harassed so much and literally couldn't escape it to the point where she was riddled with stress that caused her to have stomach ulcers that were resulting in her shitting blood, as she described it in her post.
So what you're saying is, actually blocking people probably isn't a bad thing for mental health, and fucking Keffels is full of shit here. I don't remember the Lindsay Ellis thing at all.
She has since quit YouTube entirely and only uploads on Nebula now. As far as being an active figure fighting to normalize progressive values and get that disseminated on YouTube.
What the hell does that mean?
In destroying her...
What the fuck are progressive values? That is such a meaningless term, progressive. Hillary Clinton calls herself a progressive.
Because she did not toe the line. What happened after that? You'll notice...
Wait, I mean, so she's still creating content, and at Nebula, she's probably getting paid more for it.
Seemed to become more apparent than ever.
I use Discord. I have a Discord. There is a Discord associated with this channel. Here, the Discord command should give you the link. Let me know if that doesn't work.
Nobody besides a few people came out to defend her within the BreadTube sphere, even those that were known to be her friend behind the scenes. And after that, we saw things such as...
Okay, Phoenix, as I said, I missed the Lindsay Ellis thing entirely. What's the deal with Lindsay Ellis? Because I don't take his word for anything. He tells me what the weather is. I'm going to look out the window just to be sure.
ContraPoints jumping to defend the sexual harassment towards Vosh shit with Cat Black.
Fuck off. That isn't actually... It was sexual harassment by Vosh.
And we saw the same behavior. We saw ContraPoints do the same behavior that, the debate bro sphere...
Yeah, what do you mean? So she actually went and said... I mean, we have the fucking DMs that he sent her. You telling me she actually went and said what Vosh wrote? That's so terrible, that bitch!
Had defended her against for a while. She was doing it and was unwilling to even look at any of the evidence that was going on. It was bizarre.
Well, because the evidence actually did not help your boss there.
Many of you that were there to watch it was I was there in Vosh's chat when that went down. It was Contra, what are you doing? Why won't you just look at the evidence?
Because she probably did. The evidence doesn't help Vosh. The evidence, as usual, is not good for Vosh.
Why are you being this stubborn? This isn't like you. What is happening?
Well, maybe you could show us the fucking DMs. You can show us where Vosh covers himself in glory.
It was really weird, wasn't it, chat? It seemed like she wasn't doing it because she actually believed she was in the right. It seemed like she was doing it
because she read them and Vosh looks like a complete disgusting prick.
She doesn't want to get canceled anymore. And guess what? Since she went up against Vosh, ContraPoints has not been canceled once.
their definition of canceled is so flexible as well. Because, like, when they were all lying about Professor Flowers and sending racist hate mobs at her and basically hounding her off the internet, that wasn't canceling. But on the other hand, Vosh and Xander Hole both got so indignant because people said, people pointed out that actually what happened was when Vosh told those lies and said that racist shit, people criticized him. And that was, and people said, that's not, you're not being canceled. People just criticize you because you said things that suck. And he was like, no, that is canceling. Well, if that is canceling, then, so is what happened to fucking Professor Flowers. Like, I mean, it is such, they are so fucking weaselly. They are just as weaselly with this as explicit right-wingers.
Remember those, like, every single time Contra would upload cancellations, we'd have to, like, literally cover waves of Twitter posts attacking ContraPoint?
What do you mean we? See, because he and Vosh love to deny that they have any kind of that they have any kind of, like, hate mobs that they can just send out by saying the word on stream. But here he is saying we like it's a coordinated effort.
With every single upload. Ever since she went after Vosh, that stopped. Interesting how that is, huh? And so it's made me wonder whether or not this whole cornbread tube thing is basically a response to the insane woke scold mob on Twitter.
Why can't it be a response to the whiteness of BreadTube? Like, you fucking hate BreadTube. You and Caleb Muppet could compete to see which of you hates BreadTube most. Why not just accept that maybe the reason that Cornbread Tube exists is it's a response to the overwhelming whiteness of something that you also hate?
Getting its way. That's what I wonder.
Mud to slander people, to harass people, to help encourage brigades and mass harassment against other creators she doesn't like. But when she gets called out for this behavior, she starts weaponizing...
For what behavior, though?
Therapy speak, and starts talking about how she can't be accountable because of her mental health.
That's not what she said. She said that she blocked people because of her mental health. Because harassment happens. Like, I mean... Is she gonna pretend that she's the only trans content creator who gets harassed? Is that what she's actually doing here?
Because there's soft little ooh-woo, like, lefties, and we're the mean, bad debate bros that are attacking them for no reason.
Well, that's about right. Except there is a reason, namely that you are reactionaries and you don't like to have that pointed out.
So, on that note, Soul Bunny put out a video about me.
I'm sorry, but Soul Bunny's entire aesthetic is a red flag, okay? I'm gonna be real.
On that note...
What? Well, okay. See, he has to warn his audience when he's gonna be real because they're used to him being fake. But, like, are you gonna explain why Soul Bunny's aesthetic is a red flag?
Okay.
Soul Bunny.
Like, as far as friendships with somebody goes, Soul Bunny's, like, aesthetic as a person is just a massive red flag.
What does that mean?
Like, can we be real for a minute?
I would love to see it.
Having purple hair is valid.
Is that what this is about? Is he slagging her off because she has purple curly hair?
Yeah, but you have to, like, if you listen, alright? On the left, you're cool, Heavy Gretel, and I know that because I know you, but, like, if you're on the left and you've got, like, colored hair, I have to, like, actually know you to have my preconceptions
his preconceptions about queer people
destroyed, because unironically, like, the blue-haired SJW or pink-haired SJWs...
This is Nazi shit now. And, I mean, this is the guy, he makes his money by claiming that he's done with the Nazi shit. And here he is saying that actually he kind of, I mean, this isn't the first time that he's more or less just continued saying the same sort of shit that you would hear on just a far-right stream. Fucking hell.
Stereotype does exist on the left, okay? It does exist. And that basically evolved into the woke scold.
Which is just okay, because the SJW was just already a far-right fucking buzzword. And then woke scold, that's true. The right-wingers, like yourself, Xanderhole, let's be honest, we're being real here, Zan. Then decided, because Ben Shapiro said woke scold, and they can only have one fucking new idea per a year. And Ben Shapiro had it. And so they became woke scolds.
Which have now evolved into what are calling themselves cornbread tube.
Put out a video.
It's cornbread tube, you fucking dickhead.
About me.
Blue
I
hair
don't
and
like a
pronouns,
bully that
yeah.
gaslights.
Blue hair and wait, okay, so we're saying cute, like, queer hair tastes and also not trans, and also either trans or at the very least trying to show solidarity with trans people? And you're slagging that off, is that right? Because you're so fucking based.
This white Canadian trans streamer. Wait, sorry, I misread that. This YouTube Canadian trans streamer is rewriting history, so I had to correct the false narrative since she's going after Jesse Gender.
It's actually the glasses. I'm gonna be real. It's the glasses.
The issue is I just have a...
It's not... it.
The issue, Kitastro, is just I have a suboptimal setup here. This is a new camera. It does not work the same way in terms of low light compensation as my other one. Hey, Hiroko-ai, good to see you. We've got another 16 minutes. So I'm still working on getting the lighting just right for it. And that's what's going on. This is, I mean, there's no blurring of the background. Because it's just a solid color background. The problem is the lighting. My hair isn't this color. I have been experimenting with lighting for quite a while to get this right, and I had managed to get a little bit better, and then my camera had more or less begun to bite the dust. Yeah, I mean, the problem is the lighting. It isn't so much the background. My hair literally is not this color. This color is the result of the lighting not working correctly. My hair is way lighter than this. It's just I'm doing this from a basement because I'm fucking stranded here, and it's just all suboptimal. I wear glasses too most of the time.
It's not the hair color that's doing it. It's the glasses.
Fuck you, man.
I'm sorry, but these are I'm trying to be a quirky, like, these lenses are...
I mean, how is this not just, like, fucking shaming a woman for her appearance?
Are supposed to make my eyes look way bigger than they are. Like, yeah, quirky glasses. It's the glasses.
They're cute glasses, asshole.
It's the glasses, that's what it is. I figured it's the combination of the purple hair and the glasses, really, but it's the glasses.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the combination of the glasses and the purple hair fucking rocks, actually, I would say. I mean, so he's just, at this point, Keffels is saying that she has no right to block people who are abusive to her, and Xanderhole is being one of those people by, like, slagging her off for her appearance. Yeah, I mean, see, the trouble is that you have all these different levels of compensation with these cameras, so sometimes you will turn on more light, and you end up getting less of it. Like, here, let me... And this is a brand new camera, so I'm really not used to it. Yeah, I mean, and also people who have to wear glasses because, like, I mean, eyesight. That's why people wear
You know
fucking
there's
glasses.
glasses that are purposefully like that. Like these are you don't
As opposed to what, glasses that are accidentally like that?
need to have glasses like that.
Who needs to, I mean, what the fuck? You don't need to have glasses in a particular style, yeah. People choose, like, a particular style of glasses. Well, she's gonna... What the fucking hell?
She chose to have glasses like that, right?
Yeah, and they look really good on her. What's your fucking point?
And they're those big ones that you get to try to make it so your eyes are bigger.
That's the exact opposite of the effect of large glasses, actually, because the large glasses make your eyes look smaller by comparison.
Zan dissing on style for shame. This is my style, okay?
Yeah, exactly why you have absolutely no, you are in no position to be slagging this woman's appearance off. Yeah, I have cat eye glasses too. Got these in Santiago. Yeah, I mean, she looks cute. She looks like I mean, I don't really know anything about her, but just the picture makes me think she's exactly the sort of woman I would see in a pub, think, you know, it would be really nice if she talked to me, and I would sort of vaguely consider, like, going over there and saying, hey, how you doing? Do you mind if I join you or something like that, and then not do it because I am absolutely terrible at initiating conversations because I have all sorts of social anxiety going on. But yeah, I mean,
See this? I got a Smokey the Bear shirt, okay? All I care about is preventing wildfires. That's my drip. Fuck you. Round glasses are pretentious. Yeah, it's such a... It's...
Fuck it. Yeah, so this is really... I mean, it's great that we get this substantive political discussion of the actual problems he supposedly has that he's slagging her off for. Instead, we're just talking about the fact that he doesn't like her appearance.
Such a... I'm trying to be an ooh-woo, like... This is nerd girl slander? You're damn right it is.
There is a street in Santiago de Chile that it's Calle Maquiver, and it is nothing but wall-to-wall opticians. And so one day I was due a new pair of glasses, so I just went down there, found a place that had some glasses I liked, and just bought them. And then a few months later, for my birthday, I bought myself sunglasses from in a similar style.
You're damn fucking right it is. I am nerd girl slandering hard right now. Nerd girls aren't trying, okay?
She's clearly trying, though. You just pointed out that she's trying. That she deliberately made stylistic choices that you are now, like, trying to shame her for, which just doesn't work because you look like a fucking gerbil.
Real nerd girls aren't trying to look like a nerd girl, okay? Real nerd girls are out there fucking wallowing in stink, playing, like, 12 hours of WoW, okay?
Fuck you! Like, I mean, now this is just like the sort of, you're a fake girl gamer bullshit. Yeah, he's just such an asshole.
Okay? The real nerd girls you can smell from a mile away.
They're trying. They're trying to use that to keep you away from them.
That's the real sign.
Corin and Kaylin. Leave my friends.
Like, he managed to actually say worse things about nerd girls there than he was saying about the person he was actually slagging off.
And cornbread tube alone. Hashtag white.
And, like, she's also trying to, deliberately trying to avoid pronouncing it correctly. It's cornbread tube. It's not cornbread, it's cornbread.
I can't get over. I can't get over that this is what they're calling themselves.
Yeah, you can't get over it because you are so fucking steeped in mayonnaise, my dude, that you did not know that was a black thing.
I actually cannot believe they're trying. I wonder if they...
I can't believe that this group of black content creators is making a black cultural reference.
I think this is gonna be like the rise of BreadTube initially in 2019. These YouTubers fundamentally don't understand what made the left take off in 2019.
Okay, chat. Did I miss something? I don't remember the left specifically taking off in 2019. I mean, I think that there was actually, in 2016, certainly a major backlash and a wave of organizing and mobilization that happened in response to the fascist escalation. That's true. And that leftists definitely benefited heavily from the fact that Democrats very clearly had absolutely no answer to any of the obvious pressing issues like, what do we do about these Nazi paramilitaries that run around in the streets and that the cops do nothing to stop? What about the kids in cages and that Democrats, all they could talk about was fucking Russia? I mean, but 2019? Yeah, I mean, he's just an asshole.
It was figures like Destiny and Vosh.
No, they weren't. First of all, Destiny isn't the left. He never was the left. He actually openly hates the left. He is very openly just right-wing. At his best, he was a liberal, and then he decided to go all white supremacist.
And pre-towing the line to the woke scold's consequence.
No, it wasn't, motherfucker. This guy has no political analysis. This is his political analysis. The reason that there were fucking leftist mobilizations during the Trump years against fucking all the shit that Trump was doing, it's all down to 3 content creators. I mean, he has, este weón tiene cero calle. He has no street. He is so fucking alienated from any kind of movement that he thinks that the left is winning when his fucking stats are up.
These were the figures that helped BreadTube become what it was in 2019 when it blew up. I assure you, the people who caused BreadTube to fall off and crumble and fracture apart are not going to be capable.
Actually, I mean, what caused the fracture? There's Sophie from Mars has actually given, the technical term, the technical sociological term. It's called schismogenesis. When she reckons, when a group gets big enough, there are going to be intra-group tensions, and there are going to be divisions. So what happened was, at that time, it was actually quite small, and so people would sort of paper over the fact that actually Vosh is a complete asshole, and Zanderhol really is making false advertising when he claims that he's no longer a fascist, because he uses fascist rhetoric all the time. And it was like, there's just not enough people, so we're not going to. But then it ended up getting really big, and there ended up being all sorts of fucking leftist content creators, and it ended up being a really big thing. And at that point, then it becomes more obvious that there are fundamental differences between this sort of reactionary to liberal ranging assholes. Like, he keeps on throwing Destiny in there, which is just wild. The only other person I've ever heard claim that Destiny was part of BreadTube, despite the fact that he unabashedly hates the online, the left, and the online left in particular, is Caleb Maupin.
Of creating a whole new corny ass new BreadTube that actually ends up getting anywhere near the same level of momentum. Did we just listen to Zanderhol's
He is just so completely he just lives in a fucking bubble.
They're smelly nerd girls. I'm not into nerd girls. I'm into MILFs. I'm into women that are like, I mean, ideally twice my age, like or more. But
so like 30. He's into women who are about 30.
30s or so is good too.
I did not watch this.
There's a white Canadian trans streamer who's lying on foreign Jesse and rewriting history to justify the harassment. So about 5 days ago, a couple of days ago, when you're racist but queer, and it touched on a lot of important things. But the thing is that, with that territory, you expect a response, you expect a reaction. But the problem lies is the fact that their response is for them to rewrite history, is for them to be lying, is for them to leaving out very important things. For example, she tried to...
Well, it's because of Destiny's stance on capitalism. He is very enthusiastically pro-capitalist, and he's also a white nationalist. He, was an early defender of neo-Nazi mass shooter Kyle Rittenhouse before anti-transphobian joined him. That is Soul Bunny. Let me drop the name in chat.
Say that she went to rehab.
You know, the fun thing is that these content creators do have a very good, they do have a very good ability to keep their audience from actually looking into any of the things they're lying about.
Well, I mean, one of the advantages they have is that when people do look into them, Xanderhole, unlike you, for example, when people do look into what they say, it turns out, it checks out, it backs them up. Whereas when people look into what you say, it turns out you fucking made it up.
But what I do like, what I can appreciate is the fact that these content creators have a very niche potential audience. You'll notice that, like, Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, Jesse Gender as of late, Soul Bunny, all these content creators, they're building their, what they hope to be careers on hating on other lefty content creators.
Well, no, they seem to be criticizing you, Xanderhole. But that's where we have to leave it off. It is time for me to wrap up, as it is nearly 1 a.m. I just want to thank everyone who joined me, and let me just note, we are only $121 short of fully funding the entire Kollontai crowdfunded translation. Chapter 2 is funded, and the only thing that remains after that is Chapter 3. That is the last chapter, and most of Chapter 3, 97% of Chapter 3 is funded. We've got 121 short, so if you enjoy the stream and would like to support that project, you can just go to my Patreon and either become a patron, or there is other information on how you can make donations. And I will see you on Friday next at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have